What actually happened yesterday, because they're now saying we are currently under attack. John Cohn, ABC News consultant and former acting undersecretary for the intelligence at the Department of Homeland Security. John Cohn, welcome to KTRS.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
All right. So pretty shocking when you have somebody testify in front of Congress, we're under attack, and the lack of newsworthiness, right? I'm shocked that the White House doesn't even acknowledge we're under attack.
Yeah, yesterday's hearing was very striking to me for the reasons you have just suggested. First, the intelligence chief unanimously laid out a pretty stark picture of the various threats facing this country, ranging from China to North Korea to Iran, the evolution of the threat of terrorism by groups like ISIS and Al-Qaeda. But nowhere were they more alarming than what they conveyed about the attacks by Russia. The ongoing attack by Russia intended to undermine credibility in our government, disrupt our electoral process, and to expand political divisions in this country. Extraordinarily serious threat, and what was also quite striking to me was that they suggested that the White House wasn't providing a lot of leadership on this, and so therefore the country really wasn't doing a lot to address the problem.
Yeah, there are large portions of Americans out there. I don't see the planes going into the buildings. I voted. Nobody told me how to vote. And my guy won. So what do you mean we're under attack? There's nothing going on.
Well, that exactly is the challenge, right? So if you are being targeted by misinformation or false information, which is being produced by the Russian government, and your opinion is being influenced, you may not notice that you're the person being targeted. I think what the danger is, and what people need to understand across this country, is that Russia seeks to displace us as a global superpower, and they want to, undermine our relationship with our allies. They want to expand their influence in the Middle East, in Europe. They want to obtain greater territory. They want to undermine our government, and they want to undermine our system. And if they can do it by making people angrier at each other in this country, and they can exacerbate, social and political tensions, that's how they're going to do it. So they seek to, I'm not trying to sound alarmist. I'm just echoing what was said yesterday by our intelligence chiefs, which were appointed by the current administration, that our very system is threatened. Our national security is threatened by what Russia is doing.
They said that there's no evidence that they changed any votes or hacked in any voter registration lists or anything like that. But did they also say that they're trying to do it?
Yeah, so that's an interesting point. So what they've said is there's no evidence that vote tallies were actually manipulated. But they also said that that's not something that they looked at. We do know that the Russians were able to penetrate several voter registration systems, though it's unclear whether they were actually able to manipulate the data. All one would have to do is to penetrate a voter registration system and say, and then change the data or eliminate or delete voter records. So when people showed up to vote, they don't appear to be registered. What the Russians have done, and I think we're only really getting our arms around how much of an impact this had on the actual vote in 2016, is they created false information. They targeted certain geographic areas, political areas, with that false information, and they sought to change public opinion. And if you change public opinion, you can influence how someone votes. And that's the real danger.
And they used what? Facebook, Google, Twitter, social media?
It's a very sophisticated campaign. They used all those social media platforms you talked about. They created fake sites. They targeted groups ranging from political communities to our military members. And they created false sites that were meant to look like the types of places people of specific beliefs would go to get their news. So if they are targeting the military, they're going to create sites that look like the sites where military members go to in order to get information that's important to them. So, like I said, it's very sophisticated. They are very good at this, and we know that they were able to actively influence people's public opinion on specific issue. So the danger here is that if they can influence how somebody thinks and believes, then they can influence how that person votes.
So basically, we're under attack and we don't even know it, and our intelligence agencies are telling us.
Exactly.
John Cohn, ABC News consultant, former acting undersecretary for intelligence at Department of Homeland Security. Sir, thank you for your advice. Appreciate your comments.